I'm Emma Carey. I'm the Managing Partner of MSB Solicitors, and it's my pleasure today to host a podcast speaking to 3 of our lawyers who will be the next generation of lawyers, and I'm sure they're going to contribute amazing things to our profession. We've got Sarah, we've got Lucy, and we've got Michael. So I'm going to just ask you firstly, how did you get here today? What's your journey that has got you to where you are today in MSB?
So mine's quite straightforward. I suppose I did my A-levels, went to uni, did a law degree, and then got a job in a firm and worked whilst I was doing my LPC part-time. And then it was after that I came to MSB.
Okay.
And luckily got my training contract, and here I am.
And you're now a qualified solicitor?
Yes. Yeah, 3 years this summer.
Okay, that's great. And would you like to share with everyone your good news as well?
Yes, so I got made associate this week.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Yeah. Okay, Lucy, and what about you?
Like Sarah, mine was quite traditional, Emma. So I did my undergrad at Lancaster University, and then I went and did the LPC in Liverpool. And then I started in a little local law firm at home, especially during COVID, started off in a smaller one that just did like family and things, and then obviously wanted to be in the big city. So joined Liverpool and MSB, and then I'm just doing my hopeful training and getting the experience as a paralegal. So it's really going really well so far, thank you.
Great. So you're paralegal at the minute, and you're looking to be a trainee.
Yes, yeah.
Which is great.
Thank you.
And how about you, Michael? I'm sure there was nothing traditional about you.
No, it was pretty traditional.
Oh no.
Yeah, boring. So it was just A-levels, and then I went to university, John Moores, 3 years, and then I did the LPC in Chester. Whilst I was doing the LPC, I worked voluntary at a criminal firm for about 4 years. That was really interesting. And then I got a job in a law firm, and then moved to MSB, and thankfully got my training contract, and then qualified in October.
That's great. Well, it's really interesting for me because I didn't know that about you, Michael. I didn't know you'd been a criminal lawyer, which is great. Tell me a little bit about what made you want to do law. Did you always want to do it? Was it something you fell into, or, Sarah?
So I'm just a very indecisive person. I always have been. So when it came to picking A-levels and looking at what I wanted to do, nothing particularly stood out, and I was sort of like, I don't know about this, don't know about that. So I did lots of work experience. And I think my mum and dad got really stressed because everything I did, I was like, I don't think that's for me. And then about the 10th set of work experience I did was in a law firm. And I came away and thought, actually, that's something that I could definitely see myself doing, and that I think I could be interested in. So it stuck.
Great. And we're glad it did. And how about you, Lucy?
With me, it was, I wanted to be a teacher originally, and I did a lot of experience like in schools and things like that. But then I kind of liked the idea of working with people more as well. So I looked into law in that way. So we did a lot of work experience at school. I went and did a week in London as well, looking at different firms down there. Right. And I kind of found just interacting and like negotiating with people was more appealing, especially with, vulnerable clients and things that we do in family in particular. I just found that more engaging. So it was more of a, stepping stone process for me to get there in the end.
Great. And how about you, Michael?
I had decided in senior school that I wanted to be a solicitor. So I've always chose subjects that were geared towards doing law. So I've known from an early age I wanted to become a solicitor.
Right, and what made you want to do that?
I like the idea of helping others. So I just feel like you're always there to assist people, give advice and help others.
Great. And what about you two? Why did you think that you wanted to be a lawyer? What was it that you liked about it that finally fitted when you'd done all those different things? So was you just at the end of the road? Yeah. There was nothing else to do.
No, I think I like the setting of a law firm. Mm-hmm. When you go in and you sort of it felt I could see myself working in that setting. Mm-hmm. And then I think I liked the fact that I was good at English at school, and I liked the fact it's very sort of, there's logic to it. You think of an argument and you then put that forward. It's sort of, I could work through that in my head.
Great.
I think it's a lot of problem solving as well in the firm, and no day is the same. I think a bit of variety in what you do is always exciting. So definitely, just from my experience over the past 12 months, I've learned so much in such a short space of time, and I think that's what you really want in a career, to develop and to improve on a daily basis as well.
We've just been talking about this, haven't we, Sarah? Lifelong learning, learning something new every single day. Okay. Can you think or tell me about a lawyer maybe who he can be or she a lawyer who may have inspired you, or a particular case that you kind of think about how important it was and a difference that it made to the world? So.
Well, we were just having a chat on the way here, weren't we? And we both had come up with one of the same people, which is Baroness Hale.
Okay. She's been very popular.
Has she? Well, yeah, I can see why. Just because it's nice to have female figures who've made it to places that no one ever has before in the Supreme Court. And
I think with me as well, I think it's little parts of your life as you're learning as well, when you hear things in the media. So with Baroness Hale, when she started in 2017 in the Supreme Court, so that's when I was doing my law degree.
Right,
and
okay.
There was another case, Owens & Owens in 2018, which is quite a big boost moving forward with divorce reform.
Right, okay.
So that was regarding a woman that tried to get a divorce through the courts, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Courts.
Right.
And unfortunately, she wasn't granted the divorce because her husband at the time refused. But this also made, people think about no-fault divorce, which basically is when people don't have to provide reason based on why they get divorced. So I felt like that case, especially while I was learning how law is formed, and just shows that law changes on a daily basis and we have to adapt in that respect as well.
Absolutely. And the thing I hate most is when people say it's how we've always done it, because things don't stay the same. And so we need to constantly be learning and constantly adapting. So absolutely, that's a great example. And how about you, Michael?
Mine is more the people that I work with on a daily basis. So yourself, Dr. Emma Palmer, Hayley.
He's trying to get in my gut butts on you, Michael.
And just seeing the way that they work and the cases that they work on and their knowledge, and just picking things up from them on a daily basis.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Do any of you watch, and we've kind of been having a debate with other people in other episodes about fictional law programmes, and whether we like to watch fictional law programmes or whether we see it as a bit of a kind of busman's holiday and we don't want to watch law things when we go home from work, and whether we find those programmes to be realistic. Is there a particular character that maybe resonates with us? So what do you think?
I think within like British law settings, I struggle with them because I'll pick out the faults in them and be like, well, that's not realistic, or that's not how it happens. I think I tend to watch more American dramas, and they're obviously not realistic either, but they're so far removed that you can sort of just enjoy them for what they are.
Fiction.
Yeah.
And is there any particular one that you like?
I was going to say Suits, but I'm sure that's been popular today as well in people's answers.
Everyone said Suits, and so a few people have drawn kind of characters from Suits who remind them of people at MSB.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So Brad is...
Oh, I wouldn't want to pin a character on him.
Suits.
I don't know.
Harvey.
No.
Yeah. And poor John McCreaney is Lewis Litt.
Oh.
Who said that?
Well, he said people call me it. So, and Dominique, we thought was Dawn.
Okay.
Or she said Mike. Yeah, a female Mike.
Oh.
So
that's a good comparison.
They're good comparisons, yeah. So how about you? Do you watch any, or do you not like?
I think this is going to sound like a silly answer, but I always found when law's in normal everyday programs. So I always loved Friends as a growing up and watching it, and just Ross getting divorced and Monica and Chandler adopting children and things like that. I feel like, and them renting the properties and things, I just feel like thinking about how they, how law's integrated in those programs, really, and we don't really stop and think about it. And that's one of the main programs that got me into thinking, I'd actually really like to go into law and actually help people with those issues. So typically I've watched Suits and things like that, and I do find them interesting. Like Sarah said, I think the factual basis is definitely something that's not always accurate, but I've always resonated with things that are quite comical and funny, but also include little snippets of law in it as well.
I suppose you can take it for what it is, can't you? Not necessarily that this is exactly what law is like, but it's entertainment, isn't it?
And it impacts in people's lives, and that's seeing how it interweaves, isn't it, with reality, fictional reality. And what about you, Michael?
I don't tend to watch a lot of legal programs, but I did really like The Good Wife.
Well, no one has mentioned The Good Wife, and that was my favourite.
And I think it's quite glamorous. The American ones aren't they? They're very glamorous, and it's always funny because they always pluck something out of the hat at the last minute and get the client off.
I can truthfully say nothing on TV has impacted on me as much as when Will was shot in The Good Wife.
That was awful, wasn't it?
I think I cried. I felt like I needed to go to his funeral.
I've done it too.
Do you know, it's because you don't expect them to kill off a main character.
You just didn't expect it. No.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So anyway. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, that's good. Okay, and we've talked about kind of fictional law. How does MSB live up to your expectations of what you would think working in a law firm would be like?
I think especially when you watch programs on TV, you get the impression it's very cutthroat. Nobody takes any mess in. It's all very corporate, and MSB's not like that, but in all the good ways. Everyone's approachable, everyone's supportive, everyone gets on. And I think that makes a really lovely place to work.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. And how about you, Lucy?
I would definitely agree with Sarah on that point that, there's just so many opportunities in a law firm that I didn't know existed, especially with the amount of networking opportunities and just meeting different businesses as well with the firm. Like we did last week, Mandela 8 was here, and we got to meet the granddaughter and daughter of Nelson Mandela and speak and hear them in conversation. And there's just things that you never thought you could do. And inspire other people, as well as the clients that you're helping and supporting as a team, but also the people you meet on a daily basis is really rewarding.
Yeah, that's great. And how about you, Michael?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think the ethos is really good, and everyone is a team. Everyone's there to help each other. It's always an open door policy. You get to bounce off each other in work and run things past each other. And I like the way MSB originally, organically grows. Could we cut that bit? Organically grows from within. So it sees potential in people, and then it helps them develop that. And it's nice to be part of a firm which has grown with you whilst you're growing. It's just getting bigger and better.
That's a lovely answer. And will you tell us all just a bit about what you all do? Because you two do the same area of law, don't you? But I think you're both doing kind of slightly different things, and then what you do is different. Yeah. So do you want to say, Sarah, what it is that you do at MSB?
Yeah, so I'm in the commercial property team. So do a lot of different commercial matters, but then also largely for housing associations now, doing their property side of things.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
I do particularly children matters. So a lot of the time we do a lot of legal aid work. So if the children are vulnerable and basically need support, and a lot of things with the local authority as well. So with Liverpool, and we do a lot of making sure that the children, their welfare and wishes are at the heart of what we do and how we protect them as well.
So do you support our guardians? Do you do
we do. So some guardianship work as well, but it's predominantly definitely making sure the children are looked after, or if there's any signs of vulnerability, or if they're in difficult circumstances, making sure that they're out of bad situations and that they get referred to organisations which can help and which can help the parents as well.
That's great. And you, Michael?
I also do children work and divorce and finances, and I've previously done international work with Emma, and that's really interesting.
And you're doing some good work supporting the trans community as well,
I am,
aren't
yes,
you?
yeah.
Yeah, which is great. Okay, so you told us what you're doing now, but where would you like to see yourselves in 5 years? And what would you like to do along the way in those 5 years?
It's a big question, isn't it? I would like to see our team grow. So, as I was just saying, we started doing work for housing associations, and it started at just me 2 years ago, and now it's me and a trainee. And I'd love to see that expand even further, so that it's a full team in itself within commercial property.
Right.
That would be brilliant. And I don't know, maybe I'd like to be senior associate by then, maybe.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's great. And how about you, Lucy?
I'd love to just get much more experience, Emma, with what I'm doing, and also just look at what else we do in the firm as well, because I've done family since I started, and I know we do loads of different work, and just getting opportunities to, I guess, make more contacts and develop business rapport with people in the firm and outside of the firm, and also hopefully achieve a training contract and become a qualified solicitor.
That's great. And is it family that you would like to qualify into?
I really do love family. My passion is with family, but I'm not opposed to looking at other areas as well. I just want to get the best experience possible, and I know I can do that at this firm.
That's great. It's great. And how about you, Michael?
I would just like to continue to progress within MSB, and hopefully just help, make MSB bigger and better going forward.
That's great. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And especially you. I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's really important for us that we support the next generation of lawyers. And it's also really exciting for me to see amazing lawyers coming through MSB and the contribution that they will make to the future of our profession. If you want to hear or find out anything more about MSB, in particular career paths and options, every year we do a paralegal recruitment drive. Every year we do a trainee recruitment drive. You should visit our website and look on our careers page. We also do lots of things to give back to the community we serve. We write lots of blogs about topical issues within the law, and these can be accessed through our social media platforms on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.